Russian man like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang glide, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sleep like a lie.
Before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be brought to you by Fandomion. If you want to buy some really awesome anime merch from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Haiku, and so many other anime, I recommend using my link in the description box to check them out. And there's free worldwide shipping on orders over $39. You'll also get an additional 5% off using my promo code down below. For any of you guys who might be interested or on the fence, I highly recommend checking out the website. Pay attention to the size chart. That'll be the biggest thing I would tell you guys. But with that being said, though, let's jump back into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga, and for anime only fans, this is the time off where a lot of the content that we talk about here on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming you guys are all caught up with the manga, and you do not care about me talking about spoilers. So today I want to talk to you guys about how hindsight is 2020. So when Naruto made the judgment call of, I'm not going to take Hinata onto the battlefield, I don't want my daughter to potentially grow up without her mother here, you know, I'm going to be fighting somebody that could probably kill me. If I'm going to get killed, then there's a pretty good chance that you would get killed as well, and both of our children will grow up as orphans, and I don't want them to have to grow up like I did, even though that technically wouldn't be the case because of the Hyuga clan being able to raise Boruto and Himawari. However, I took Naruto's side then. But given what just happened in the last Boruto manga chapter, and given now we know how all the pieces on the battlefield laid out, I can't help but thinking that Hinata, from a narrative perspective, might have been more useful than Shikamaru. Now, I still believe that we're in a situation where Naruto made the right call by allowing Shikamaru to go with him. Shikamaru's big brain is something that is probably going to come up with a huge strategy that's going to ultimately lead to the tables being turned. I definitely think that that's going to happen. However, where Hinata could have been used, and why I think that the Hinata fans actually have a little bit of room to be upset, it's the fact that Hinata, from a battle perspective, she's got that Byakugan, which means that Hinata would be able to start tracking Code's claw marks. Hinata also be able to start seeing more of those weaknesses. She has a bunch of defensive jutsu that she has. She also can start targeting chakra points. So Hinata does have some assets that she could have used that could have helped out. And because Boruto is in a situation where Momoshiki's taking over his body and he's forcing the fight, both of Boruto's parents being there on the battlefield, that could have been something that's used to try and start the situation where Boruto begins to start overpowering Momoshiki. I think that that could have been used right there, because Boruto right now is further along in his Otsutsukification, which means that on top of needing to absorb chakra in order to wake Boruto up consciously, we're also in a situation where he's going to need a little bit more of a mental push in order to regain control from Momoshiki. Because in the chapter when they're talking to one another and Momoshiki freezes time, Boruto was struggling to move, which means that right now Momoshiki has a more firm control over Boruto's body right now. I think that Hinata's presence there on the battlefield could have been something that actually helped. Now, that being said, I think the other benefit to Hinata being there on the battlefield is that I don't think she would have been caught slipping like the character of Shikamaru, because Code was able to sneak up on Shikamaru and get behind him because of those claw marks. If Hinata had her Byakugan active, unless Code got right in the blind spot of the Byakugan and he just happened to have a claw mark that was angled in a way to where he would pop up directly in that very small blind spot of the Byakugan, Hinata should have been able to see Code, which means that at the bare minimum, she would have had at least a little bit of time to react. And I think that those few seconds right there are something that could have been used. Now, maybe you can make the argument that Code is just going to be that much faster than Hinata. That's certainly possible. And I'd even say that that's likely, that we're in a situation where Hinata might have been able to see Code and not be able to react to him. But I just can't help but think that we have a missed opportunity here, especially now that you're going to be in a situation where Kawaki has awakened that karma seal and Kawaki's going to be joining in the battle. All it's gonna take is somebody getting a character like Hinata free. There's only so much Shikamaru can do. His shadow paralysis can be overpowered by people who are stronger than him. And if a battle is raging on and say Shikamaru gets code into a shadow paralysis jutsu, all it's going to take is Momoshiki absorbing the shadow paralysis jutsu and code's right there on the battlefield again. However, if Hinata was there and it was Kawaki fighting against Momoshiki, and it was Naruto and Hinata fighting against Code, they could coordinate their attacks. And if Hinata is using the Twin Lion Fist, Hinata using that attack would be able to directly target Code's chakra network and taking advantage of some of the benefits that the Twin Lion Fist jutsu has. Because if Hinata's coordinated attacks with Naruto, that attack, the lion has directly drained the chakra network of everybody that they touch. And Hinata is able to use that in conjunction with her 8 trigrams jutsu. So that's one of those things right there to where Hinata, if she's fighting alongside Naruto, they could have taken advantage of that and they could have taken Code off of the board. You would just be in a situation where Naruto would have to be the one that is doing the heavy lifting in the fight, and you angle everything to where Hinata is able to catch Code off guard because his attention is focused on Naruto. I really think that this could have been the fight that so many people wanted to see from Hinata. Seeing her and Naruto team up in something that isn't a watered down romance moment like what you got in that garbage in Naruto the Last, where they teamed up together and they destroyed that Tensegan energy vessel. Having a real fight with husband and wife in a fight where they're trying to rescue their son, I think that that could have worked. And given that the Boruto story is a story about fatherhood and parenthood in general, this really could have tied into that situation right there. Now, there's also obviously the chance that if Hinata had been there, Hinata would have been penetrated by Code, and if that would have happened, Naruto would have been violated in ways that we can't even begin to imagine. And if this man has to watch this after the fact, after Code pulls out of Hinata and Hinata's just leaking all over the place, that's something that could absolutely ruin Naruto. Like, we thought Naruto went on a rampage when Pain penetrated Hinata right in front of him. Imagine what he would do if Code pulled something like that and say Code used those scientific ninja weapon tools to stab Hinata in front of Naruto, similar to how Pain used his chakra rods. Naruto went into an 8 Tails transform state at that point. Imagine the rage outburst that you would have got here, and knowing that Naruto doesn't have Kurama. That just adds a whole nother layer of desperation to the scene that really could have made this a very emotional moment. And if that happens, that's something that would absolutely ruin Naruto, and I don't think that you would want Naruto in a situation like that. But seeing that level of desperation, especially under these circumstances where his son is being possessed by Momoshiki, the one thing that Naruto feared and the one thing that so many people told him, if this happens, you need to be willing to kill your son. And you got people like Gar going as far as to say that he needs to go ahead and kill his son right now, because if he waits, it's too late. Imagine if he has Hinata right there and Hinata's life is in danger on top of all of that. That's a great way to raise the stakes. I think that this was a missed opportunity. Like, I'm not saying you kill Hinata, that's not what I'm saying. I think a lot of times when people hear me say raise the stakes, their mind immediately goes towards death because of all the trolling I do on the thumbnails with certain characters getting dusted. There are other ways to raise the stakes, and there are other ways to set up payoff. And I think the one way you could have did this with this scenario is Boruto in the Boruto Shiki transformation has already absorbed some chakra from absorbing Shikamaru's shadow paralysis jutsu. So if you take that and you take the fact that Naruto and Hinata would have been there on the battlefield, seeing his parents there while Boruto's trying to fight against Momoshiki and regain consciousness, having his parents be able to reach out to him and ultimately be able to embrace him once he wins that battle with Momoshiki, where he eventually takes back control of his body, that's a hell of a payoff for everything that's happened here, especially if Code is able to get off with Kawaki. That's going to be a great panel situation. However, I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Do you think Hinata should have been brought to the battlefield, or should she have just stayed where she is in the manga like she is currently? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.